Start here on the February 5th edition. As a reminder, please turn off or silence your cell phones. Good morning. You are attending the Animal Matters Commission hearings for February 5th, 2024. The Animal Matters Commission was established and is conducted in accordance with Article 12 of the Anne Arundel County Code. These are administrative hearings, and by nature they are informal, which means you are not hampered by rules of evidence. However, please be aware that you are still testifying under oath. Each party will have their opportunity to state their case. After each party states their case, they will have an opportunity to ask questions of the other party. Please do not interrupt the other party. You will be given ample time to talk. In many cases, we are aware that there is a history. You may briefly tell the commission about the history. However, please focus on the issue at hand. After each case, the commission will have open deliberations. During these deliberations, the public may not participate. If the commissioners have an additional question, you may answer that question, but no further information will be heard and a decision will be rendered. This decision is a recommendation to the chief of police or their representatives. The recommendation of the commission will be taken into consideration and a final decision will be made by the chief of police or their designated representative. If, as a defendant in the case, you are unhappy with the decision of the commission, you may appeal. For citation cases, appeals are made through the District Court of Maryland. For administrative orders, like potentially dangerous, or vicious orders, appeals are made through the County Board of Appeals. Okay, we can please call the first case.
Right, the first case, make sure everybody can hear me. Okay, the first case is James Sweeney versus Cheryl Stevenson. I'm going to go ahead and promote you all to panelists. Please don't begin speaking yet, and make sure that you keep your cameras on, and then we will swear you in. Takes it a second as people go out and then come back in.
Are you able to hear us? Over.
I could hear. Yeah, I could hear you, Mr. Sweeney. Miss Stevenson, I can't see you.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. If you could all please raise your right hand and keep your hand raised, anyone that's going to speak in regards to this case. Do you declare and affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Oh, everybody's muted. If you could unmute so we can hear you.
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm going to have everyone please state your name and address for the record. Mr. Sweeney, if you can go first, and you can go ahead and put your hand down.
My name is James Gregory Sweeney, and I live at 293 Riverdale Road, Severna Park, Maryland, 21146.
Okay. And then if we could go with the Stevensons. You guys...
Cheryl Stevenson, 295 Riverdale Road, Severna Park, Maryland, 21146.
And I'm Eric Ewell, 295 Riverdale Road, Severna Park, Maryland, 21146.
And my girlfriend will also be speaking today, and she didn't. Yeah.
Okay, if you can come up, can you come a little closer so we can see you and raise your right hand for us?
Yes, sorry.
Do you declare and affirm under penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. And if you could please state your name and address for the record.
Virginia Van Diest, 293 Riverdale Road, Severna Park, Maryland, 21146.
If everyone could please remember to utilize the mute function if or when you are not the party that is speaking. And Ed, I'm gonna let you take charge from here.
Okay. All right, Mr. Sweeney, you are the complainant in the case. So you will go first and state your case.
So the dog barking has been a problem for a long time. Like I can remember dog barking problems all the way back to as easily like before 2016. So it's gone back a long way, but I put up with it for years until they invited me. I'm just trying to give a little history here until they invited me in their backyard one day to help them with something, which I did not know the dogs were going to be out. And as soon as I get in the backyard, I realized the dogs are out and I start backing up just to have the gate closed behind me. And the dog was let go and it immediately attacked and bit me. And at that point, I was just like, hey, can you not, when I'm outside trying to work on my yard, can you please just not have your dogs out there barking at me constantly? Because if they are out there and I'm out there, they are constantly barking at me the entire time. Even like trying to move around my house. If they see me they look through my windows, and if they see me, they will start barking at me when I'm in my house. And they let them out at 4:30 in the morning sometimes, and they will wake our entire household up, as well as others in the neighborhood who choose not to get involved and not be here today. So that's, hearsay neither here nor there. But and also just like they let them out, especially in the summertime. They will let them out every hour on the hour. They'll let them out for an hour. They'll bark almost the whole time. They'll let them back in for an hour, then they'll let them back out for an hour, and it's just constant all day. And sometimes I will wait for the dogs to go back in sometimes, and try and go out there when the dogs aren't out there. And the dogs will obviously see me out there, and within like 5 minutes or less of me being out there, they will let the dogs out without looking to see that I'm out there, and they will just bark at me the whole time. Mind you, since they requested the hearing for today, things have been better. I have not experienced as much dog barking during first thing in the morning or during the day. It has been better since they requested the hearing, and it hasn't been too bad recently. But previous to them requesting the hearing, it was quite bad, and I am very fed up with all the constant barking. And they told me they basically told me there was nothing they could do about it. I also had tried to put up anti dog barking devices, like an ultrasonic anti-dog barking device, onto which they say there's no dog barking problem, and yet they tried to take plastic bags and block these dog barking devices to make them less effective, which kind of leads to my case of they obviously think there's a problem too if they think they need to block these things. So I guess that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just I feel like I deserve to be able to enjoy my yard and enjoy my house without being barked at constantly and woken up very early in the morning.
All right, Mr. Sweeney,
Yes.
not that there's any doubt here with what you're saying, but do you happen to have any recordings of the barking?
I had turned in some recordings at animal control, and I was told they would be turned into the correct people and be available today.
Okay. Robin, do we have
Hey,
those?
Mr. Sweeney,
Yes, we do.
Mr. Sweeney, going forward, do you have specific evidence you want to present regarding the specific citations 1677 and 1571?
Well, yeah, I had turned in a recording of me waking up early in the morning and then barking at 4:30 in the morning. I have.
And which citation is that for?
I'm sorry?
Which citation is that for?
I had turned in several, and I am. If you give me just a second, I can go pull in the citation that y'all picked out of the ones I turned in. I can grab it, so I would have the citation number. Can I be given just a second to go grab that from the other room?
Sure.
Ed?
Sure.
I'm sorry. I thought it was you all would have that available. My apologies.
It's available.
Yeah, Robin.
Robin, can you just clarify something for me? Mr. Sweeney was referring to dogs, plural, but I only see one on here, Tucker. Is there more than
It's
one
Tucker
dog?
it's Tucker that's the main problem. The other one follows in suit, but it's really Tucker that is the one I have complained about and does the most barking. So I apologize. We were mostly talking about Tucker today. He is the main problem.
And
Gotcha.
Mr. Sweeney, you
Thank you.
can hopefully see the screen with all of the evidence that you submitted. I don't know if there's a particular one you want me to open first.
Can we open the one associated with the appropriate citation, Robin?
Mr. Sweeney, if you can tell me which one that is, I'd be happy to.
Can you give me just a second to pull up? I didn't write down exactly. I just turned in all kinds of evidence for the dog barking. But I mean, let's see. So this was the one. About, okay, so it's gonna be the one where they were barking very early in the morning.
Can you identify it by the label?
Yeah, if you give me just a
One of
second,
them
I'm
is
gonna, can I look through my videos
one
real
of them
quick to
is
find it? I'm sorry.
One of them is December 20th on the citation, and it looks like the second item on your list says 12/20/23, so that might be a recording related to the citation
Yeah,
for
that
December
could definitely
20th.
be, that could definitely be it there.
Good eye, Jennifer.
Can you all hear the sound? No?
No.
No.
How about
No, I
now?
don't hear anything.
Pretty quiet.
No, I'm sorry, Robin, I don't hear anything.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything either.
Mr. Sweeney, are you hearing it?
There we go.
Mhm.
Yeah, it took me a second to wake up and catch the beginning of the barking, but that it continued barking halfway through the video there, as you can hear and everything. So that's the main one. Like, it takes me a second to wake up, and some, you know, half the time they have stopped barking, or yeah, it takes me a second to even convince myself to get out of bed and record this and everything. It's, you know, it's 4:30 in the morning. But then all the other, like, there's one 13-minute, the longest video there is an argument between me and my neighbors claiming that their dogs do not bark in the morning and saying that I just need to close my drapes, and, you know, when they're barking at me in the house, and which they might have turned, they were recording that evening too. They may have turned that into evidence also.
Well,
Into evidence also.
I don't, it's just me. I don't think an argument between neighbors would necessarily be, helpful here. We
Right
need,
on.
we need
I
to
was just
hear.
trying to turn in
barking.
anything that might be helpful, but I understand if you think it's not.
Yep.
It would be
The
helpful if there's an
barking of the-
admission on that.
The barking of the animals is, I believe, what we need to hear right now for the case.
I feel like the sound picks up right about here, and so we can replay here.
Yeah, I haven't heard a thing yet.
I was able to play it on my, separately through my own computer, going to the file myself, and I was able to hear it clearly.
Ed, did you say you heard it for a second?
Yeah, I heard just, about a couple really soft woof woofs, but that was it.
Are there any other recordings?
It is quite muffled. It's much louder in person. It's hard, you know, it's just a phone camera. It's kind of hard to pick it up, but it's much louder in person.
Tom, you said you did it through your own.
I just went through
Computer?
I went
you
to the shared
describe it?
drive. Yeah, I went to the drive that's shared with us that has all these files, and I was able to click it and have the volume up on my own computer much louder than I'm hearing it here. I mean, it's more clear anyway to me, but I mean,
There's also two photos there labeled ultrasonic barker, showing them putting up plastic bags trying to block the ultrasonic barker. Yeah, you can see the ultrasonic barker there with the plastic bag in front of it. And there's a plastic bag to the right where I had it placed the first time and then moved it over, to which they came out and tried to block it again. And I also put up a second ultrasonic barker that I believe the other picture shows them blocking. Oh no, that's the same one. So the video of the argument, the argument started when I had put up the second ultrasonic barker farther down in the yard, and they came out trying to block it, and I went out there, angrily started yelling at them for trying to block it again. You know, them being like, "There's not a problem." Then it's like, then why are you trying to block this thing? Is what the the argument started over, was them blocking one of my ultrasonic anti-dog barking ultrasonic.
Do you know which video that is, Mr. Sweeney?
It's going to be, if you just give me a second, like I said, I have the videos pulled up on my own PC here and everything. It's going to be the largest file. It is the longest one there. So the largest file is the one of the argument. So I guess that's probably going to be the one from
This one?
It's from November 30th. And I took Tom's advice and I've been listening to it on my own computer. It's much clearer when you do it that way. Same thing with the dog barking on December 20th. You can hear it clearly if you just open it from our drive on your own computers.
Yeah, it must be this one. See if you guys hear any sound this way.
Come get it. As you can see, she does nothing. She does nothing. Let's go to court. We should do this in court. It'll be fun. As you can see, she does nothing. She just stands there and say, hey, Tucker, get the fuck down here and get your dog. Get your dog. Actually do something. Get your dog. This is usual. This is what I have to deal with. This. So let's go to court. Come on, lady. This is not the video of the argument I was talking about. If you give me just a second, I'm going to look through my videos and see. I'm pretty sure it's this one right here. You're gonna what? Okay, yes. The video I am talking about is the name of it is 20231130 underscore 194158.
194158.
You're gonna what? Tell me to move. You're gonna do what?
You're the one here fucking screaming at my mom.
Your dog that won't shut the fuck up.
Death threats about my fucking dog.
You should probably shut him up. Your mom threatened my life.
I don't give a fuck.
Of course you don't.
Stop. Get your
Call the cops. Call the cops.
now.
Do something.
Come on over, dickhead. Come on.
And you're gonna what?
I've had enough of your shit.
Or you're gonna what?
I've had enough.
What are you gonna do?
Stop doing.
This is my property. This is my property. Shut your dog up. Shut your dog up.
I don't give a shit. He lives over here.
I live here.
Okay.
It's a nuisance dog. It's against the law.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Protecting his yard, dumb fuck.
He's not protecting shit. That's it. That's what the fence is for. Call the cops. Call the cops. He's not protecting shit. Call the
I
cops.
already told you you're a fucking idiot.
You're the fucking
Now
idiot.
you've done shit about it. It should be
What are you gonna do?
obvious.
What are you gonna
Get
do?
in your fucking house.
This is my yard. I can stand right here all I want.
Okay, and I can stand right here all I want.
Okay?
Fucking bucket.
Yeah, this is evidence. This is evidence. Let's go to court. You haven't taken him to court.
I'm just pausing for a second because I don't know if you know the particular spot in this video. Was there discussion about the ultrasonic fence?
I don't see. There was some argument before I started recording, and like I feel like the entire, like they say, and I definitely got there in recording. I don't know exactly where it is, but I definitely got in recording them saying their dogs don't bark in the morning, which I have evidence to the contrary of course.
Commission members, do you want me to continue playing?
Are there any recordings of them barking without anyone yelling?
Some of the daytime videos, there is recordings of I do believe there's some recordings without them without people yelling.
Hey, Ed.
Yeah.
Ed. I'm having
those
two
out to
issues
us?
on my end. I don't know if Robin can help me. Is that I'm trying to find the citations in the shared drive, and I'm only finding one citation. That's 1677. I can't find 1571. Because we need dates. When all this
The
occurred.
dates are December 20th and 11/13.
There are some
11/13 is
pictures.
1571, Jessica.
I have 11/15,
Yeah.
11/9, 11/10, 11/11.
Oh, okay.
Jennifer.
Can you guys see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, so this says 11/15/2023,
That's for 7-1. Got it.
and that's the one that ends in 7-1. And that is, just to be clear, sorry, reading sideways, public nuisance, and that is for Tucker, medium brown dog.
Do we have any audio or visual evidence on 12/8 or 11/15 that we can hear?
I do not believe for most of these I have evidence corresponding to the citations themselves.
Okay.
But if this
Thank you.
if this is a continuing problem, I will make sure on the citation days to also gather evidence on those days. If this problem continues after this, certainly.
Okay, Mr. Sweeney, is that wrapping it up for now?
Yeah, I feel like I've said all I need to say and everything, but like I said, in that longer video with all the yelling and cursing, like I said, they did. I don't know exactly which point it is, but like I said, they did say that their dogs don't bark in the morning, and obviously I have evidence to the contrary of that. And I also think just to reemphasize that I think the blocking of the ultrasonic anti-dog barking devices is kind of an admission that it's a problem. Like they wouldn't need to block them if it wasn't a problem. Is kind of where I'm at. So, but yeah, I feel like that about wraps up what I've wanted to say and everything.
Pardon
Okay.
my ignorance here, but what exactly is an ultrasonic anti-dog barking device?
So an ultrasonic anti-dog barking device basically is completely off unless there are loud sounds around it, such as a dog barking. And what it does is it emits a very high frequency sound that only dogs can hear, only when they're barking. And when they stop barking, it immediately stops. So that way they associate the loud, painful sound that is only on when they're barking with their barking. And it leads them to, in theory, to stop barking because they don't like the high-pitched sound.
Does it work?
It worked some. It wasn't perfect. But when they put up the plastic bags, it did hinder its performance, certainly.
Yeah, Jennifer, they have the same type of things, and I understand exactly what he has. You can put them in your engine compartment of your vehicles to keep rodents out, as well. They make them, for that as well. I had a problem with squirrels chewing up my rear, camera wires, so I had to install that. So I believe it works on the same premise. So,
Okay.
is there anything else? Anybody have any commission have any questions of Mr. Sweeney?
Well, I did want to say one more thing. My girlfriend's here with me, like I said, and she lives with me. Obviously, we have the same address, and she is witness to the dogs barking very early in the morning. If you'd like to hear from her about that.
Sure, that would be part of your presentation.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, so there have been many mornings where the
You
dogs.
may want to move a little closer to the.
Let us switch. Let us switch seats here.
Okay. Yeah, so there have been many mornings when the dogs have been out barking at like 4:30 in the morning and woken both of us up. I am not good with dates, so he keeps the records, but it happens a lot.
Okay, and just to follow that up, are you also in agreement with Mr. Sweeney that it has been a little less here lately?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. We're going to move on then, if that wraps up your, go ahead, Jackie. Jackie, you have a question?
Yeah, do you have any idea of why it's been less? Are they leaving the dogs outside less, or what do you think?
I'm not really sure. I have seen less of the dogs, so I would assume that they're being let out less.
I'm in agreement with that. Yeah, I think they are letting the dogs out less right now. Like once they start barking, like during the day, they'll immediately bring them in. And I haven't been woken up in the morning recently by the dogs barking. So I don't know if they're just not letting them out in the morning or what, but I'm asleep, so I'm not witness to that. But yeah, it definitely has been better since they requested the hearing. Absolutely.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
If there's nothing else, we're going to move to the defendant, Ms. Stevenson, now, and we will give them the proper etiquette that they gave to the Sweeneys to speak without interruption. Okay, Ms. Stevenson, you're on.
Hi, yeah, my son does leave the dog out to go to the bathroom before he goes to work. He does go in early. But the dogs are inside dogs, are in all day long. When he gets home from work, he takes the dogs out. Particularly Tucker likes to play ball, so he plays ball with him, brings them in, and then we let them out before we go to bed. about 8 o'clock is usually the norm for the latest time. Sometimes it'll be 9 o'clock. And when Mr. Sweeney is talking about dogs up barking, my neighbor has the same kind of dog, and he lets their dogs out early too because they work early from home. And I mean, there's dogs everywhere. There's dogs on the other side of Mr. Sweeney, behind him, next to me. So everybody's got dogs they let out in the morning before they go to work. As far as my dog barking at him, he has antagonized my dog from the time I got him. My dog is 5 years old. Both these dogs are rescue dogs, and he's only 5 years old. So him saying this has been since 2016 is just not possible. But he has squirted my dog in the face if he barks with a hose full force. He has used a foghorn, blew it in my dog's face. That thing that he's talking about, the anti-bark, at first I thought that was a video camera, which is why I started blocking it. But that does emit noise, high pitch, for 50 feet. So anytime my dogs were in the yard, if they had one little peep, that thing would emit the painful sound in their ears, and that's both of my dogs. So literally you could say I couldn't even let my dogs out for fear that, you know, this thing was gonna shoot that noise in their ear. And that's another reason why I started blocking it, because I didn't want that. I did at one time have a black privacy screen up at my fence so that when Mr. Sweeney came out, my dogs couldn't see them and they couldn't see in their back of their house. But he decided that he didn't like it because the wind blew it and flipped it over to the other side of my fence that I paid to have put up, and cut it down while I was at work one day and threw it in my yard. He's also texted my son threats that he's going to take a pitchfork through the fence and stab my dog. Just all kind of nasty things. And I just think that with him antagonizing the dog like that, he's just exacerbated it. He's made it even worse. The dog sees him as a threat. And he does. When he said my son was out there screaming that day, that was the first time since this all started. My son went out, and my son went out, I think because this has been accumulating for years. And Mr. Sweeney was calling me very vulgar names. And usually he didn't record this and show it to you, but he's always out there screaming profanity at the dog and at me. And you know, frankly, I'm really hesitant to try to do anything because the whole time he's screaming at me, and I'm afraid he's just like he's mentally imbalanced. There has been problems. I have a phone number for a neighbor across the street, and the other neighbor on the left that has the same kind of dog, a lab. And they said they'd be willing to take a call from you if you wanted to hear from them. The one next door did hear him threaten the dog as far as stabbing him with the pitchfork. And he did hear the screaming when my son went out the other day. But anyway, I do have an anti-dog bark thing that I've been using anytime they bark, but I only use it when he barks, and that's it. I don't leave it on so that every little peep he gets that noise. I just don't think that's the proper way to train a dog. I'm trying to work with him as much as I can. Mr. Sweeney recently has put up a privacy fence. Great. I'm hoping that will help. I have a privacy fence all along the front of my house. Had I ever anticipated this issue, I would have made the privacy fence all the way around. But I didn't know he was going to start acting like this. This has only been the past couple of years, and his girlfriend has recently moved in. That's a new thing. So she hasn't even witnessed all this. So
Can I say something when you're done?
my son would like to say something, if that's okay.
Sure. Has he been sworn in? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
But we are working with the dogs as much as we can, but they're in all day. and all night.
Yes. Hi, my name is Eric Yule. As she said, I do get up early in the morning. I actually work for the government myself as well at
Me
Walter Reed
too.
Medical Center. I'm up very early in the morning. I have to be there at 6 a.m. I do let out the dog very early in the morning for maybe 5 or 10 minutes tops, just for him to use the bathroom, come back inside. And that's basically it. Like she said, when I come home from work, I get the dog out right away, play some ball with him, try to get him back inside the house. It's been very easy lately because it's cold. Other than that, as she said, I do have text messages that I can show if you guys would like, of Mr. Sweeney texting me, talking to me about killing my dog, stabbing the dog with a pitchfork, these type of things. I mean, like she said as well, if he has been antagonizing the dog sees him as a threat. Doesn't understand how to deal with him. Every time he comes out, he's loud, as in I'm talking James Sweeney. It's loud, screaming, yelling at the dog. The dog thinks that he's barking at him, as far as I can tell. Also, the reason why the long video that he's mentioned as well, that's been provided for evidence, the reason why I came outside is, like she said, many times he has called my mom foul names that I'm not really happy with, but I kind of let her deal with it at the time. But I was sitting there at that back door. Our 90-year-old grandmother, who had a heart attack last year around the holidays, is living with us now, and she came up and saw this happening right next to me. That just kind of set me off. I apologize, but that was kind of what caused me to go outside and start yelling. And I was very hesitant to even try to do anything for him, because it's very much of him constantly complaining about it all the time, over and over and over and over and over again, to me and to her. But the dog's in the backyard. We try to keep him in and out, and we don't leave him out as much as he's saying that we are. The videos that he's got, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they don't show the dog. That could be any dog in the neighborhood barking. But I do agree that I do let the dog out early in the morning, and they both run outside, the both of them, Abby and Tucker. That's the other dog's name. And that's kind of it. I can show you guys, if you would prefer, the text messages that I have from him. It's very short, of him sending basically death threats about the dog to me directly.
Did you introduce them as evidence to?
No, sir. I did not realize that I had anything I had to send in specifically. And the long video, my thought was that that's a couple gigs in size. I wasn't sure if you're going to be able to accept that video size, basically.
All right. I'm going to ask the rest of the commission. You want to deal with that, or you want to take his word for it? What do you all feel?
I'd probably take his word for it, Ed, and the rest of the commission. I think I've heard enough to appreciate the fact that there's some animosity going on between the neighbors, and I don't know that the text that Mr. Stevenson's going to provide is going to add any more flavor or color to what we're trying to adjudicate here today. Those are my thoughts.
I think that that probably speaks for the rest of the commission, unless I hear differently. I have a question though for the Stevensons before we move on.
You want to switch?
Strictly pertaining to the citations that we're dealing with today, what would be your testimony? Did the dogs bark early in the morning, as alleged in the citations?
On that exact date, I don't recall the exact date, because my neighbor also has a dog he lets out, and Mr. Sweeney doesn't complain about that dog. So
Okay,
you know, it's definitely directed
let's
towards.
pause just for a second. And we're dealing with, I believe, 2 citations here.
Okay.
And let's see here. We got one for 11:15. That's November the 15th of 23, which was the barking. And then, yeah, both of them, unless I'm wrong, Robin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're dealing with 2 citations for 11:15 today.
Yes. Can I say something else?
Wait a minute, let me have Robin respond to that.
Okay.
Sorry, Ed, I didn't organize these, so I'm just looking.
That's okay. The case file that I have is it has a lot of complaints in it, but it only has 2 citations.
I guess, Ed, and I'm relying on Jennifer for this because she's fairly astute. That if it's my understanding that citation ending in 1677 occurred on 12/8, then the citation ending in 1571 occurred on November 15th. That's my understanding of the citations we're going to look at today.
Yep, that's correct. One ending in 7/7 is for 12/8, and the one ending in 7/1 is for 11/15.
Okay, I'm looking at 571 citation.
Yeah, that one's from 11/15.
Right. And there are another one?
Yeah, the other one ends in 7/7. And it's from 12/8.
I didn't go back that far enough. Right, they're
You want
separate.
me to share screen again?
No, well, unless everybody else does, I'm just flipping through my pages here. Okay,
Robin, I see an affidavit in here for
got it.
an affidavit showing the date of violation as December 20th. Is there not a corresponding citation for that? Because one of the videos, the one I pointed out, was from December 20th.
There was not a citation written for the December 20th. Important to note that we didn't have the videos until, I want to say, Mr. Sweeney came in last Monday. So
That is
the
correct. I turned
videos-
them in Monday.
The videos were not submitted when the affidavits were, and we don't issue necessarily a citation for every affidavit we receive, because oftentimes we get 30+ affidavits at the same time. And we generally adjudicate some before moving on.
Okay,
Gotcha.
let me
And
get
yeah.
back. I'm sorry, Ms. Sweeney, took us a while to get these citations coordinated in my mind to ask you the question. So in accordance with the two citations, the one ending in 571, and then the other one 677. Do you have any testimony as to yay or nay on the incident that's alleged in these citations?
I'm like, am I swearing that these are true, or I'm not sure I understand your question, sir.
Okay, the question is, the citations are citing them for public nuisance violations, and I'm asking Ms. Stevenson if those citations are founded. Was your dogs out early in the morning barking on those dates? Basically.
They could have been, but there's other dogs too. So I didn't take dates and times, but I also work at the Annapolis Naval Academy Medical Clinic, so I go in early too. So do have to let the dog out before we go to work.
True.
So we don't leave it out. Let them out to do their business, bring them in, give them their goodies, and go to work.
Fully understood. Just wanted to get your take on the citations.
And also, I just wanted to mention, Mr. Sweeney had not worked for years. He just started working in the past couple months, and that's when all these citations started rolling in, and he works night work. So that's probably part of it because, with him, I guess, working and, the hours that he does, the dogs may bother him when he tries to sleep. But I can't control that. Like I said, they're inside. Most of the time, they're not even in the yard.
Do they bark only when they are let outside?
Pardon?
They only bark when let outside?
Yes, sir. I mean, they bark sometimes in the house if they see something go by, but yeah, sometimes, I mean, he also has all these vegetable gardens and fruit trees all along his front yard, and it's attracted all kind of wildlife. We have a fox that lives there. We had a deer in the yard, just all kind of wildlife. So if they go out in the yard and see that, yeah, they'll bark at that. He was out there shooting a BB gun. Yeah, they'll bark at that. So
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
no, sir.
I'd like to say,
I see your hand raised. I see your hand raised. We'll get to it. We're gonna let Ms. Stevenson wrap up.
No, I'm finished.
Okay, Mr. Sweeney? Unless any of the
yeah,
commission.
I
Wait a
just
minute.
wanted to say about the,
Just a second, Mr.
sorry,
Sweeney. Unless any
sorry.
of the commission, I forgot to give the commission a opportunity to ask questions of Ms. Stevenson. Anybody? Okay, hearing none, then go ahead, Mr. Sweeney.
Yeah, I just wanted to say about there being a fox on the side of the yard. They were not attracted to my vegetable garden. They were attracted to them having a trash can that did not have a lid, and there was frequently trash. Like, they would get into it, and there was frequently trash everywhere, all over my garden, as well as all over their driveway, which I did not turn in evidence pictures of, but I do have pictures of.
Okay, well, that we're dealing with the barking issue today, and I think that'll be handled in another arena. So as far as the barking issues goes, is everybody satisfied with their cases as presented? If so, we will move on to
Actually,
deliberation.
I'm sorry, I actually did want to say one more thing on the barking issue as a rebuttal to something she said. They had up a blocker, like a canvas thing that was attached to their fence that, yes, did. First of all, like, the dogs were able to get behind it. It did nothing for the dog barking. They would just get in between the fence and the blocker and still bark at me. And I took it down because it kept blowing onto my side. They would never bring it back onto their side. Now I'm trying to work on my yard, mow the lawn and everything, and it would be hitting me in the face with the wind. And I kept putting it back on their side over and over and over, and they would never bring it back onto their side on their own, and I got tired of dealing with it. So yes, I did cut it down. It did zero good and was, a constant bother to me. So that's why I took it down.
Okay. Commission ready for deliberation? Okay, at this point, the commission will engage in our deliberations on the cases. And we will begin, I believe, let's see here. Let's begin with Jennifer.
I mean, I think these folks clearly have issues with each other. I'm just not, I mean, I don't think there's any dispute that the dogs have barked at that time in the morning, but I haven't heard anything that tells me that a dog going out for 5 minutes before someone goes to work, if the dog yaps a couple times, that to me, that doesn't rise to the level of a public nuisance. It would have been really helpful had I heard videos to actually let me hear the extent of this barking, but also a video that actually showed the dog, because Ms. Stevenson's testimony was there's several dogs in the neighborhood that are let out around similar times, and I didn't hear anything to sway me necessarily that it was always her dog or that it happened on these dates. So I would be inclined to dismiss the citations.
Okay, Nicole?
I think absent video proof of the dates and times listed in the citation, I'm inclined to dismiss.
Okay. Jackie?
I agree. And there just doesn't seem to be evidence to show that the dogs are barking constantly and even that loudly. What evidence we did hear of a lot of barking was when the two gentlemen were arguing, and that's going to make any dog bark.
Okay. Dr. Hammer?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everybody. There is, I mean, I think Jennifer hit the nail on the head that there's definitely issues going on between the neighbors, related to the dogs. But the matter before us today, looking at the two citations, I've not seen any direct evidence that would give me pause that to uphold either one of the citations. And so I'm in agreement for dismissing at this point.
Okay. Lieutenant Tillman? You're muted. There we go.
Thank you. I had to be smarter than my computer. Sorry about that. I agree with the rest of the panel. It's obvious to all of us that there's definitely contentions between the two neighbors. So unfortunately, they're not able to get on the same page and try to work with each other. Again, there has really been no evidence that the dog's bark has been above and beyond to make it a public nuisance. And then the evidence that we do have of the dog barking, I don't know if the dog is barking because of the hostile interactions between the two neighbors, or if it is just because the dogs are just ill-bred and that's their nature. And there's nothing really to support the case. So I agree with the rest of the commission. Thank you.
Okay. Tom?
Yeah, I mostly agree with, I agree with everything everyone said. I will say that with some of the evidence that I did see, I went down and watched most of the videos in that evidence, and there was evidence, with the arguments between the two men. I would also say that the evidence gathered that was most, that would have probably pushed me towards upholding. There was a few where Mr. Sweeney did have video evidence where he was inside of his own house with pictures of the neighbor, with the neighbor's dog, which is what we would need in that situation, but it did not correspond with any, times of these citations. But also, he narrates along with the videos, which kind of, it's hard to tell with the volume of his voice if it's influencing the dog inside his house. If we could just have videos, given plainly of the dog barking, that would be the best evidence that we could get. So short of that, I agree with the rest of the panel.
And, I'm not, I'm not insensitive to individuals that work night. I did for a very long time, and it's kind of hard to sleep during the day when everybody else is out there. All sorts of things are going on, like people cutting grass and trimming and all that kind of good stuff. And you've worked at night, and I'm not insensitive to that, but I do agree with the panel. The evidence that's before us today does not rise to the level of the citations. So with that, does anyone have a motion? Jackie?
I make a motion that we dismiss both citations, the ones ending in, 677 and 571.
I second it.
Seconded by Dr. Hemmer. All in favor? Okay. That will do it for that particular case.
That was everybody, right? Sometimes it's hard for me to get hands counted that fast.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so, Rob.
Okay. Thank you. And I'm gonna go ahead and demote those folks that were here for this case. And then we'll call the next.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Everybody, yep. Try to get along.
My neighbor's dogs all around me are barking right now.
All right. All parties that have an interest in the next case, which is Michael Saucy versus Natalie Collier, if you could please use the raise hand function. It looks like I see both of you, so I'm going to just promote you. Again, if you could please remain muted while it promotes you up. And once you're here, if you could make sure that your video is on. See you, Mr. Collier. Autumn, would you mind helping the Saucies? I see that they've turned on their video, but maybe their video portion is closed because we're not actually seeing them.
Give me 1 second. Robin, I'm gonna have them go from my computer because the video's not working on that one.
Okay. All right, thanks everybody for your patience. So now we can make sure that we can see everybody on the monitor, and if you could all please raise your right hand
Unmute.
and unmute. There we go. Do you declare and affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
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 And then we're going to go ahead, Ms. Collier, if you want to go first, please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Natalie Collier. My address is 1279 Isle Drive, Pasadena, Maryland.
Okay, and then the Saucy.
Mike Susi at 1277 Isle Drive, Pasadena.
And Bev Susie, 1277 Isle Drive in Pasadena.
Okay. Having been sworn in, okay, we will begin. Okay, Mr. Susi, you are the complainant, so you will state your case first.
Okay. Actually, I believe I'm the witness, but This is an incident occurring on the 29th of July last year, 2023. As my dog Darby and I were returning from our first morning walk, and I had picked up the newspaper that had been delivered. I believe I noticed first that the gate to the property next door was open. Darby is sensitive to that. He noticed it also. And then shortly after we noticed that, as we were approaching our home, the dog next door came barking, growling through the gate. Darby is terrified of this dog. He's been attacked before, and he tried to get in the house. Unfortunately, he tried to. By that time, I had opened the door. He squeezed through the space between the door and the wall, and he couldn't get in the house. And let's see, the dog got all the way to our door, and as it has done before, it started biting him on the neck, and got his front leg and wouldn't let go. And while they were two fighting together, I tried to separate the dogs. I had the collars of both dogs in each hand, and juggling the newspaper and the leash handle. And eventually either something attracted the dog, or it just, I got him apart, whatever reason. I ended up with the other dog's collar in my hand. The dog ran away. Let's see. I have the videos, which I think you all should have in your information there, as well as some still pictures. The video actually showed what happened, and one of them is a Ring doorbell video. So it doesn't actually show the fighting because it was occurring underneath of the Ring video. The dogs from next door have been over in our yard 12 times total in the past. 3 of those have involved attacks on Darby. I will say I've been out with Darby's always on his leash. He's never running free. They never attack me. One of the incidents of the attacks was actually both dogs from next door together. After we got Darby in the house and things started to calm down a little bit, I noticed he's limping real bad on his front leg. We called up his normal vet, and the vet said to bring him in. We took him in, and the vet checked him out, said that he didn't find any puncture wounds, but he gave him some pills for to help his front leg. I have a little history here of earlier incidents. As I say, there's been about 13 total incidents, 12 of them with the dogs in our yard, and 3 of those where the dogs have actually attacked Darby. If you want to hear the history, I can give you that too.
I have one question. When the dog that wasn't yours, I believe Gooch is its name, is written here in my file. Was anyone alerted to this? The dog trying to get into your house, was the owner alerted, or anybody around seemed to chase after the dog?
That I do not know. After I and the dog saw the dog coming through the gates, and after it got all the way to the door of my house, I kind of concentrated on what was happening right there at my feet. And I didn't, although it could be, once again, the dog on its own separated and went back through the gate to the other property. I don't know whether somebody called it. I didn't see anybody, that's for sure.
Okay. Now, Robin, do we have the video?
See what I can get pulled up here.
All right. Go ahead, Jackie.
What kind of dog is Gooch?
It's
Bulldog-
described as a
bulldog,
bulldog, white and brown bulldog.
Thank you.
So you all can see.
I take it this has no sound?
there is a sound. I don't know why it's not coming on. It's kind of a frightening sound.
That's what I was expecting.
I'm not getting any sound on my end.
I'm pretty sure. I'll go back and listen to it again. I'm pretty sure I heard sound, and I thought I saw a different video as well.
There's a second video as well. Now that one definitely has no sound.
The other one definitely has no sound, so this one should have sound.
Yeah, this one does, and if you want, get the right ring video. Or
Share sound, but I'm not hearing anything. There we go.
Keep playing the other video, Robin.
Play the other one.
That's what he's playing right now. The one with the car in it has no sound. The one with the at the doorstep has sound.
Yeah, I thought that one showed the incident pretty, because it showed
Yeah.
the dog actually approach right up to him.
Try the other video then. Yep,
Get
there's.
out of here.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Susi? Before we,
only if you want a rather brief recap of some of the other incidents. I did not include a file on those with the information that I sent in, but I do have it here if you want to hear any of that.
well, what we're dealing with today is just this one citation.
Right.
So I don't want to overcomplicate matters that much. So if you're satisfied with your presentation so far, we will move on to Ms. Collier. Okay. Any questions from the commission? Hearing none. Ms. Collier?
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
First and foremost, that's the first time I've ever seen the video. It's the first time that I was ever advised that there was a video. I approached our neighbor, and there was an officer that left a ticket on our door that morning when that took place. I called about 18 times to animal control and was unable to get him. It was Officer Adams, I believe. But I was told later when I received the notice that he was no longer with the commission, or he was working on another case, which is why he probably didn't get back to us. However, understanding the dog coming over, I don't believe that even in listening to the dogs that were barking with one another, he's Gooch is not a vicious dog. He did obviously run out at that particular time. I, at 7 something in the morning, would have been home. We don't let them out by themselves. They're always guarded with somebody that's there. If they are out, even when we're with them, the gate is closed. So at that time, the gate was open. There could have been a mistake where we've had a lot of work happening at the house where he got out, but he's, in terms of him saying he attacked him, the dog that's barking in that video is Darby. And I realized he was on his property. So being a person that owns animals, he is, but he at the time was the aggressor, which typically will happen if a dog comes on our property, they become the aggressor. He ran over to, and this has happened before, like Mike had mentioned, where they've gotten on the property, they have interacted with one another, there's never been blood drawn, there's never been a scenario, except for on Gooch at one point. He's a 6-year-old dog. Darby is, I'm not sure, I know he's older, he's severely overweight, he's not the friendliest animal. So I agree that he went onto their property, obviously, by looking at the video, but him attacking him is something completely different. He's 112 pounds. If he had gone and attacked him and he was the aggressor that was making those noises on the video, he would have had puncture wounds. I did provide a veterinarian's note from Gooch's vet to show that he does have all of his teeth. She put something else in there about, how long that they've treated him in their presence and around other dogs. He's never appeared vicious or aggressive. Him running on the property, hands down, Mr. Susi has definitely provided that information. Him attacking the other dog, I don't believe that he has. The noise that you're hearing in the background and the barking that's happening in the background does not sound like Gooch. It sounds like Darby because he has a higher pitch. And again, we can't see it. So unfortunately, I can't show that, or he can't show, his burden of proof that he's actually attacked him and bit his leg, etc. He said, even in his statement, when he took him to the vet, and he was inspected, but he could find no puncture wounds, and he was given pain medication because he was limping. Darby is severely overweight. He's very ill. I mean, this is information that we've gotten from Mr. Susi, as well as his other neighbor. So him being prescribed pain medication doesn't correlate to the fact that he was brutally attacked. My concern in this is, initially, I felt like nothing ever happened because I never saw the video. And again, Mr. Susi hasn't responded to me about anything. But I do feel, and as he's mentioning, with these 13 other events that have taken place, first off, when he went in and filed the complaint, he didn't even know the dog's name. Or who the dog was. The animal control is who provided him the name. I got that from the young lady that's there. So that is Gooch, however, that's on the video. I'm not disputing that fact. The reason behind these, one would wonder, why is it that they've taken the time to file an affidavit, provide all of the documentation? We have an existing property line dispute that's happening. Mr. Susi has filed with every municipality available to him complaints on myself, my property, anything that we've done at the property. We've only owned the property since the end of 2021. Initially, when I had a conversation in the beginning, when we first moved into the property, we were amicable and we were friendly with the Susis. I mentioned to him that we were putting up a fence for the purpose of dogs, of our animals. We have multiple animals, all 3 of our properties that are on this road. We all have dogs, and none of the properties are fenced. So we did put the fence up. We had amicable conversations, and he knew, and his wife had previously sent an email before filing this complaint, threatening to file with animal control. So I believe it's retaliatory. I would be fully able, especially with him providing evidence that the dog ran through the gate, which I didn't think that he did, but he's provided that now, that he was off property. However, him saying that he viciously attacked him or attacking him, I don't want that to go against my family. I don't want that to go against my pet. And I do believe that it is definitely retaliatory response to multiple other scenarios that are happening between the homes. The fact that he's mentioned 13 times I can't, if he's got the dates and times of it, 100% 13 is an exacerbation of anything that's happened between the two homes. I
Okay,
did provide some documents that, which was, we also have this appears to be I'm sorry, did you have a question for me?
no, I just wanted to reiterate that this is the initial administrative hearing, and there are no tight rules of evidence. So I'm sorry that you didn't get to view the video prior to today, but um, that's just the way it is with administrative hearings. Um, do you have any? Go ahead, Jennifer.
I have a question. I see in the file several district court cases pending. Are any of those relevant to the dog attack, or are they all the property dispute?
We do have a district. Originally, I requested the hearing when this first took place in September, but your commission or the email, they didn't receive it. So then it got reverted to a district court case. And then when we arrived in court, I requested that we either postpone or that we have a hearing. So there may be another district court case that I'm unaware of. I did get a notice but they were supposed to be having this hearing in lieu of.
I was just trying to determine whether or not the district court had already adjudicated any portion of this case about the dog attack.
No, they have not. When we went,
Okay.
we went on the 1st and I requested a postponement, and then they, in turn that afternoon, then provided this hearing. So they've not heard this case at all.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the only thing we have in front of us today is the citation ending in 256. Would that be correct?
Is that a question for me?
No, it's for
Okay.
Ron.
Yeah, 256. And I
Yep.
should have, Miss Collier emailed in just this morning some evidence. I don't know if you want me to bring that up, Miss Collier. So Ed, I apologize. It's not in your binder. We just got it this
No
morning.
problem. You can bring it up. In all fairness,
Okay, Miss Collier, what is it here that you'd like me to pull up?
There was, I do have a neighbor statement, because this is it isn't notarized, however, so I apologize if that wasn't notarized. But this is our other adjoining neighbor. She actually approached me when she heard, I never talked to her before last week. She approached me. She had heard from another neighbor that we were having concerns. Apparently, this is a routine thing that happens by Mr. Susi. I had neighbors from across the creek approach me because he's filed complaints on them. It's a recurring item, and it's a retaliatory method that he's used for many years at the property. This particular property also adjoins both my property and Mr. Susi's property. There's a picture for you to be able to see on a different one, just so you get an idea. But apparently, which I was unaware of, because again, we just moved in, this has been a routine event where Mr. Susi has filed complaints with animal control, complaints with the county. I have my other complaints with the county that he filed, again, another one on the 17th, which is in conjunction with the same date that we received our hearing notice in the mail. I received my hearing notice via email, but also via mail on the exact same day. And there's another complaint that was filed with the county for permit purposes on that same day. There is another, I have the picture of that information or the emails that are back and forth with the county that are related to those complaints.
What do you have do you have any evidence that's related to the animal situation? You had mentioned a letter from a vet.
Yes, there's the vet.
That would be pertinent here, I believe.
yeah, thanks.
The VCA Calvert vet letter.
There we go. Okay. Any other evidence that we need to see?
Robin, is there anything in the file, any vet records for Derby? I'm looking, but I can't, some of the file names are vague. I see like saucy evidence, but there's not much in. Right, I saw that.
Hey, Lauren, you prepped this one. Do you know if there's any veterinary records?
Can go through and check and I can let you know which one should have all that in there if it was provided.
Can we ask Mr. Celsi if he provided any vet records? That might save everybody some time.
I'm sorry, I have it here with me now, but I didn't include that as my evidence because that wasn't part of what I was complaining about. That was just something
Oh, no, I
that
didn't.
we took care of.
I didn't mean historical vet records. I meant from like the day of the visit. Like, I
Right.
believe you said he was treated for some leg pain after the incident. Is there a record from that?
Yes.
Give him a second, please. He's looking for it and then we'll scan it in so I can put it up so everybody can see.
However, if I'm still on here,
You are, sir. You if you have something to say, Mr. Susi, go ahead.
well, only, and maybe this isn't the point to bring this up. Ms. Collier seems to want to bring things that are not pertaining to this particular dog case into the conversation. And since she has, she's saying that I have turned in various complaints. I've never turned in one single complaint to anybody in my entire neighborhood or across the creek anywhere ever, except with the exception of this dog case. If she wants to go through a freedom of information and find out who turned those complaints in, that may be something that can be done, but you won't find my name on any of them or my wife's.
Okay, and just to reiterate, yes, this is solely about the incident that occurred on July 29th.
Right.
Mr. Susi, I have a question for you. And again, it's not, you don't need to provide this information here, but you did claim that there's been 13 incidents. I assume with the Ring camera, if there was other incidents in the front yard, you would have video evidence of those. If not, not that we need to see that here today, but
The only other incident I have on the Ring camera, I didn't bring that along with me or turn that in earlier weeks ago, was because once again, it wasn't part of this particular incident.
That's fine.
And the other ones occur, one of them occurred within sight of the Ring video. The other ones were at different areas of the property.
Okay.
Is that the right? Yeah, that's the right day.
Looks like this has a sick exam and carproof. And a vaccine.
That was just because he was there.
Dr. Hemmer, the carprofen, is that a anti-inflammatory or a painkiller?
Sorry, Tom, I didn't hear all that.
Yeah, a lot of times with these vet records, we'll get an explanation as to why something like that would have been prescribed. Is carprofen or the medication there that was prescribed, would that be something that would have been prescribed?
In the context of the case that we're hearing today, the dispensing of carprofen is certainly appropriate. Even though there are no medical notes to support it, it would be appropriate.
Okay. All right, any further questions from the commission? Any further statements from Ms. Collier?
Yes. I just wanted to let you know, I am trying to call and get the notes.
Okay. Think we can probably take the share screen down now? You guys, okay? Any? Yes, that's what I just asked. If there are any further comments from Ms. Collier?
I just wanted to, I do recognize that this case was about this particular incident, which I don't believe that Gooch attacked his dog. I don't believe that he was the aggressor, especially even in that video. My point in bringing in the other items is to show and not to digress back to those, is to just show the backstory and the information as to why someone would make a complaint like this or take it to the next level, and mentioning these 13 other incidents that supposedly happened. This is one of many items that we are going through with the Susies. So in addition to, they have a picture of, they have his collar. I don't know when they got his collar. I don't know if they took it off of our property. Like right now, we thought that he lost it because it's just a loose choker chain. It's not the one that we use a harness when we walk him. So the choker chain sometimes will come off because it's loose, and they have it in their possession. So for what purpose of that? They're saying that it's evidence of this particular incident. This happened almost a year ago now, and not once, we live next to one another, have they presented that information back to us or said, here's your collar that you had. So, in closing, I appreciate everyone's time today. I'm sorry that you've had to go through this. I'm sorry that Gooch did get off property, which obviously I can't deny that took place. Again, it's the first time I've seen it, and I do understand the rules of evidence, etc. So, but I don't believe that he viciously attacked the dog. I don't believe that. I do believe that this was retaliatory because we had just had an incident that Friday between surveyors in our property. So all of these things in line, regardless, I believe if she's sharing the screen again, so.
Go ahead. We're listening.
So in any event, I don't believe that he did viciously attack him. I think it's unfortunate that it would go this route, and I hope that you've taken the information into account. You would recognize as a veterinarian or animal people that are familiar with animals that if Gooch being 113 pounds and you saw him run across, if he had viciously attacked him, that there would be something else that would be there, as opposed to this particular him going with no puncture wounds and then having a vaccine while he's there, etc. So.
Do I still get a turn?
Yes, sir. We're looking at this share screen right now. I do see, and Dr. Hammer, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but is this the veterinarian's assessment down there that there was a dog fight, diabetic, down there where it says assessment diagnostics.
Yeah, what I'm seeing there is would be consistent with a normal exam after a dog fight, and certainly the plan that the veterinarian has proposed here is certainly reasonable given the circumstances and the exam findings. And yeah, this is all within the normal course of business.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Susie?
Yes, sir. Since we have a veterinarian here, and I am not one, however, I would appreciate an opinion. A bulldog, is a bulldog a biter that would do a lot of puncture wounds, or is a bulldog an animal that tries to take another animal down and just suppress them in that way to account for the vet report? My dog still limps today because for whatever reason. Also, if Ms. Collier wants this collar back, I'll explain that a little bit. After it came off in my hand, I threw it up to the edge of their driveway near where the gate is. It laid there for months, even though they had people out there walking in that area. They were out there walking in that area themselves. Nobody perhaps saw it or definitely picked it up. At the time of when I had to do the affidavit, I went up there to look for it. Sure enough, it was right there. I brought it back and I've had it in the house ever since. If they want it back, they're more than welcome to have it back. It has the dog's name on it, no license, no information of rabies shots or anything like that, just the dog's name. But if they want it back, they're more than welcome.
So, Mr. Susie, you're saying you
Wait a minute, Tom. I think there was a question for Dr. Hammer in there.
Actually, I don't think it, I mean,
I'll
in
look fine if
deliberations, we could do that, but
Sure.
I'm not sure that it's appropriate for a complainant to be questioning a panel member.
Fair enough, Jennifer.
Okay.
I just wanted to
Go
be
ahead, Tom.
clear with you came into possession of the collar at the time of this incident, is what you're saying initially?
Yes, as I was trying to separate the two dogs, it came, and once again, it's one of these chain collars. It just came off in my hand.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jackie.
Is Gooch vaccinated against rabies? Ms. Collier?
Yes, ma'am, he is.
Okay, thank you. And is he licensed now?
It says on the agenda he's unlicensed, but Gooch has been licensed since before we moved into this home. So he should isn't it a yearly license we had to fill one out when we moved because we changed addresses in 2022. So unless I missed something, I haven't seen anything for 2024, but unless I missed something in 2023, he should still be licensed.
Yeah, Gooch is not currently licensed.
Thank you.
Okay. Unless there's any further questions from anyone, I guess it's time for the commission to begin deliberations on this case. So,
Hey, Ed, can I ask Jennifer a question because she's the lawyer in the group?
go ahead.
When we're looking at this citation, Jennifer, or Robin for that matter, are we looking specifically at 12.4.402 public safety threats, that section of the code?
That's what I've been reviewing. I mean, I believe that's what we're
Okay.
limited to.
Okay, we're on the same page. Yeah, that's all. I just wanted to just double check that. Thank you, Jennifer. Thanks, Ed.
Well, okay. Anyone have anything else? You can speak now, or we're going to go into open deliberations.
Ed, it looks like Jackie had her hand up.
Okay.
No, I'll wait for our deliberation. Thank you.
Susie, you have one?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that this is definitely, I know this case is just about this most recent attack, but
it's not the first time, and what Mrs. Collier was saying is not true. You know, that dog has come and attacked Darby more than once. And we tried as neighbors, despite what she says, we didn't want to call because they are neighbors, but I couldn't take it anymore to see Darby attacked like that. That's why we turned this in.
Okay. Anyone else before we close? Okay, hearing none, the commission will now begin its deliberations. And I believe we will start with Jackie.
Thank you. I have some very strong feelings about this. Obviously there are neighborhood issues going on besides the dog. But the video does show the dog at large, shows the dog running towards the door and Mr. Sousey. And although we can't see the altercation, we can certainly hear it. And I feel I can hear two dogs in the altercation. I think Mr. Sousey is very fortunate that he did not get injured just trying to separate the dogs or just being in such close proximity to it. And I'm concerned that Mrs. Collier doesn't seem to accept that it even happened, take any responsibility. And the dog is still not licensed. So I think we should uphold this, and then our next step would be to determine, what the conditions should be.
Okay, thank you. Lieutenant Tillman?
All right, figured out the unmute finally. I agree. According to the statute, poses a public safety threat by causing the injury. You could also pose a public safety threat by, while at large, which Goose was, chase or approach a lawfully restrained domesticated animal, which the other dog was, leashed in an aggressive manner. And even if he didn't bite the other dog, it was an aggressive manner approach. So I think just by the video evidence alone, you have to uphold the citation.
Okay. All right, Nicole?
I vote to uphold the citation. I agree with Jackie. The blasé manner in how Ms. Collier is explaining away and essentially not taking responsibility does not sit well with me. Additionally, Mr. Susi is lucky he wasn't knocked down or hurt in this situation, and I would like to have seen an at-large affidavit citation associated with this.
Okay. Jennifer?
I'm not sure I have anything else to add. I mean, I agree. I think the citation should be upheld. I don't think Ms. Collier understands that being at large and chasing someone else, especially coming across their property. I mean, that is the criteria under 12.4.402.5. I don't think there's anything more to say. I think the citation should be upheld.
Thank you. Don?
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, this totally meets the statute to uphold. I can't. It's frustrating to hear Ms. Collier use the word retaliatory as if somehow this dog coming off her property, how this was even could have been, created by Mr. Susi. I have no idea. It's very frustrating. If there has been multiple incidents, it very much scares me that this animal could come off property and hurt anyone that comes by. I agree. I mean, this is another situation where I think, a potentially dangerous order could be, it could reach that point. And I mean, I'd hate to see something happen to someone like a child or someone riding by on a bike or walking a dog or something like that, and an animal comes off that property like that. I mean, especially if there's been a history of this, it makes me very nervous. So, yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay. Dr. Hammer? Answer that question now.
Yeah, you know, I think the question's kind of a moot point at this
It is.
juncture.
It is.
And I cannot add anything to what the other commissioners have already voiced. I agree with them wholeheartedly and concur.
And I do too. I just both of these cases bother me that we've heard this morning with the tensions between neighbors. That always bothers me. I wish there was something else that we as a commission could do to try to level that tension away. But in seeing the Ring camera video, it could have been a lot worse. Mr. Susi was struggling there at the door, and there is a glass door. There was a glass storm door right there. And speaking from experience, falling through glass is not much fun. So I do agree with the rest of the commission on this particular case. So we need a motion.
I make a motion to uphold the citation ending in 256.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Tom second. All in favor? Got that, Robin?
I did, and I also wanted to let you all know, after I saw the video, I did let the field supervisor know that we need to open an investigation on this. The Saucies happen to be here, so I will be getting additional information from them while they're here.
Okay, and there are no minutes to go over today because we did that already for the council meeting that's going to be held tonight at 44 Calvert Street in Annapolis, if anybody's interested. I believe it starts at 6 o'clock.
Somebody from Kernel, please.
And I also would like to introduce Autumn to everybody. Autumn, if you can put your camera on and your sound. Autumn is our new office support specialist, so she is taking over for Phil. Everybody, I think Jackie may not have gotten to know Phil, but the rest of the panel members, I think, knew Phil. So this is her first opportunity seeing the commission. And I'm hoping she's going to pop on there. She might be having video
Welcome, Autumn.
as well.
Welcome.
But I just wanted to make sure everyone knows her, and hopefully we can get her face to appear on here.
Those are two good cases to introduce her to.
Yes. Two very good cases to
Yeah,
introduce
the neighborhood relations is always such an issue. In my experience working in animal control, that's the base of probably at least 75%.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, my neighbor's dog barks, I mean, constantly. She's barking all the time, but I get along with my neighbors, so it doesn't bother me. If I didn't get along with my neighbors, I'm sure every single bark would feel like nails on a chalkboard. And that's just the unfortunate human nature part. I get along with my neighbors, it's background noise. So
yeah. Dogs bark.
Right.
But as owners, we need to be aware of it and do what we can to minimize it for our neighbors.
Yeah.
Hey, Robin, sorry, I was on the phone.
So through that case, my neighbor's dogs were all barking around us, and my dog is sound asleep.
Every time my dog barks, she popped on. And I think she's having video trouble. I'm gonna pop to her.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It looked like she was having video trouble.
I'll be right back.
Well, she's away. Everybody knows the next our next session will be on March 4th. Ah, there she is.
Hi, Autumn. Ed, there is a piece of legislation coming up in the state that may pertain to us. I sent Robin the information. Robin, I was just bringing up the bill that's going for the state legislature. Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can certainly talk about that. Let me see if I can pull up your email so that others can see it at the same time. All right,
Well, it's House Bill 667. And there's a corresponding Senate bill.
And I think
Senate bill is 17.
What's the intent of it?
Basically what it is doing is saying that with animal cases, with animal cruelty cases, that each individual animal is a separate case, and it should be heard that way. And whatever convictions, whatever happens, it should be each individual animal. So say there's a cruelty case where the owner has 4 animals that are cited in the case, then each animal would be its own case.
right, and they've done a lot of reform in the recent years when it comes to criminal cases. I know there is discussion of hopefully another bill getting put in to allow charging for some of the juvenile offenses, because when they made the juvenile reform, they, I believe, inadvertently took out animal cruelty as one of the violent crimes that juveniles can be charged with. This is similar. In Anne Arundel County. We have historically charged individually for each animal when the circumstances are not good. For example, we have an upcoming case that involves 3 dogs, and there was aggravated cruelty to those 3 dogs, and we typically charge it as 3 dogs. But there is some in the current trends in some counties, some jurisdictions are only allowing the charging for the specific offense, not each individual animal. So if 3 animals were all beaten by an individual, the charge of aggravated animal cruelty for beating would occur, but not 3 times. They wouldn't be 3 separate charges.
And this bill is intended to make them 3 separate charges.
Right, to make sure that it's very clear that each animal that is harmed should be an individual charge.
Good.
I think this is a good bill. When I was in animal control in Southern Maryland, we had a horse cruelty case where there were, I think, 32 horses, but my prosecuting attorneys would only allow me to charge them under just general cruelty and not the individual animals.
Well, that'll be something to look forward to, I think. Continue to give us information on that, Jackie.
I will. The House hearing is February 8th at 1. Of course, the hearings start at 1 o'clock. So if anybody's interested in testifying, you can testify via Zoom or in person, or you can just send a letter or just a simple email in. I'm on the Government Relations Committee for the Maryland Horse Council, and we track bills that pertain to horses in particular, but other animals and all too. And that's how I became aware of it. And the Maryland Horse Council will be supporting the bill.
Well, thank you for that information, Jackie. That's great. That will have an impact on the way we do our cases once it's enacted in the law, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So does everybody have an opportunity to welcome Autumn? Welcome to our little fold here, and I'm sure.
Hi, Autumn.
Thank you. Thank you.
With that, I don't think we have any further business. Again, our next meetings will be held on March the 4th.
Hey, excuse me, Ed, do we have to do last month's minutes?
As I said, last month's minutes, we kind of drew them up and did them at the last meeting. So they
Right, we did. Very
right,
good.
so they could be sent to the council for their meeting tonight. Again, 6 o'clock, 44 Calvert Street, if anybody's interested in going there in person. I think I will be, just to make sure everything goes according to Hoyle, and that the commission's intentions are given full attention. So with that,
In regards to that, Ed, I just wanted to make sure that the panel knew that Chairman Evans did submit the written testimony of the Animal Matters Commission online ahead of time. So hopefully everyone that is hearing that will already have you all's opinions when they go into commission tonight. It's my understanding that after 11 o'clock, so we're getting awful close, we'll be able to go online and view the testimony that has been submitted in writing for those bills. This is the county council has changed some things, so I'm new to this. But that is my understanding from reading the website.
I can tell you that Councilwoman Ledbetter, Miss Shannon Ledbetter, she emailed me earlier, and I didn't have a chance to share this with Robin yet, but maybe she already shared it with you, Rob. I don't know. She amending the part of the reconsideration. I believe that they wanted it within 1 year. You can't do it more than 1 year, or there was like a 1 year period for requesting reconsideration. And I think we extended it to 2, and her input is now extending it to 5. So.
No, I haven't heard any feedback from council members on amendments and things like that they will be proposing.
Okay.
So thank you for sharing that, Ed.
Yeah, I meant to, but after the weekend, it was a little, I think she sent it to me Friday and I didn't see it until this morning. So anyway.
So I guess we will need a motion for adjournment if there's nothing else.
That's right.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Okay.
I third it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
We'll see everybody on the 4th, if not sooner. Thank you all for your time and your help.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Have a great
guys.
day.
Bye.